Salutatorian, Ronan Clark.
Good evening. Throughout the past few weeks, we students have had the opportunity to listen to a lot of good advice about what it takes to live happily and successfully. I have heard that graduating high school is both an important milestone and an indication we are all on the right track. I have heard about the importance of finding something I am passionate about and turning it into a career. I have heard about the types of opportunities I should be taking advantage of and those I probably shouldn't. I imagine I am not alone in having heard those things. And a few weeks ago, it struck me how much of a meaningful and wonderful time graduation could be for those who wish to be happy. Students, understand that your parents aren't just giving you this advice to make themselves sound smart, and parents, please realize that sometimes words aren't enough, and your son or daughter will have to have difficult experiences on their own in order to learn the life lessons that you've been sharing all along. I knew when I began writing this speech that I wanted it to fulfill a purpose, to add something to the graduation experience, or to address something that wasn't already being addressed. I wanted to leave the positive advice giving to the people who are most qualified to give it, parents, teachers, and various other people who have had the opportunity to speak at one of these events. It was then that I realized this graduation is missing something. All of this advice is great for those who wish to be happy in life, but what does graduation offer for those who want to achieve their full potential? For misery. It may seem like a strange question to ask at first, but I assure you people who want to be unhappy exist. I know this because I was recently informed that watching The Real Housewives is a choice people sometimes willingly make. So please allow me to present to you a list of sarcastic advice, not about being happy, but instead about being sad. The most important thing you can do to ensure your own unhappiness is to set an irregular sleep schedule. Researchers have already proven that getting a consistent amount of sleep every night contributes more to happiness than sleeping for a higher total of hours. I therefore encourage you to vary the hours at which you go to bed and at which you awaken. You might consider using a random number generator to determine your bedtime, but the great thing about an irregular sleep schedule is that it will quickly become easy to maintain. Stay up until 3 in the morning and then sleep in until 2 the following afternoon. Tell yourself you are just making up for the hours you lost. Waking up in the afternoon will make you feel like everyone else got a head start that day, and you won't be tired until 2 in the morning rolls around again. Perfect. The other thing you need to make sure you are doing is disrupting your sleep. For the past several years I have, and this is for real, set an alarm to ring at 5:30 with the specific intention of waking up at that time, delaying it for 20 minutes, and then going back to bed. This drastically reduces the amount of beneficial sleep I get, and it makes it no easier to get up the second time, which is, of course, why I've been doing it. Unfortunately, only so much of life can be slept away, but I have some important advice for how to behave during those accursed waking hours. Whenever possible, remain stationary, preferably in a place where you are alone and won't have to risk interacting with others. Stop calling your bedroom and start calling it your ballroom, for this is what it should become. You should perform all activities inside this room. If possible, relocate furniture and appliances into this room so that you may accomplish necessary tasks without leaving it. I am currently researching whether or not it is better to have an all room with or without a window. Having a window reminds you that the outside world exists, so I think the answer to our question depends upon whether that makes you happy. If having a window would remind you of the progress other people are making while you remain inside, I say go for it. If having a window would inspire you to visit the outdoors, then you should invest in thick curtains at the minimum. Exercise is a known pick-me-up that you must avoid. If you cave and start doing it, you will need to punish yourself by consuming an extra serving of gruel. As you consume your gruel, remind yourself about how close you were to slipping into happiness, and thank your lucky stars that you snapped back into your right mind. You'll be a lost cause, though, if you ever engage in any form of social exercise, such as team sports. Activities like these promote disgusting things, such as interpersonal bonding and friendships. You probably learned in health class about how to set SMART goals. Goals that are S, specific, M, measurable, A, action-oriented, R, realistic, and T, time-bound. If you'd like to be miserable, you need to forget what you learned in health class and instead embrace vapid goals. Goals that are V, vague, A, amorphous, P, pie in the sky, I, irrelevant, and D, delayed. It would be dangerous to say to yourself, I will finish writing my resume by 3 o'clock this afternoon, because, unless you're just starting to learn English, there's actually a chance you might accomplish that. It would be far more advisable for you to say, I will become the CEO of a Fortune 500 company, starting whenever I feel like it. If you've already practiced doing such things as remaining stationary and setting an irregular sleep schedule, whenever you feel like it will, of course, mean never. With vapid goals, you will turn the productive part of your brain from a dangerous source of self-improvement into a consistent nag that will berate you for your failure to have already accomplished your goals. The abbreviation for Bonnie Eagle is BE, and so it was to be expected that we would have mottos such as BE respectful throughout middle school. I will borrow this clever use of BE. BE a hypocrite. Chastise others for engaging in activities you participate in yourself. Although, as we discussed earlier, ideally you wouldn't participate in anything. As one of my peers, Archer Thomas, so gracefully put it, hypocrisy is the sweet nectar of life. Realize your phone will be your greatest ally in the fight against happiness. There are always people online trying to attract attention, and I urge you to give them yours. However, you must be careful. There are people online who would seek to help you, not realizing that your goal is to be miserable. Let me give you some examples of great things to do online. Engage in vitriolic debates on social media. Download computer viruses on purpose or by accident, depending upon your level of skill with technology. Attempt to correct the grammar of other internet users. There are endless opportunities, but you should be certain not to take pride in your work. You will know you are using technology in a healthy manner when you're falling asleep at 2 in the morning, wrapped in the soft artificial glow of your favorite and only friend. Ladies and gentlemen, I encourage you to do none of those things. It is my hope that this was a helpful exercise for you in reverse psychology. Nobody who truly understands misery wants to be miserable, and I also wish, almost all of you, to lead happy and successful lives. If for some reason you'd like to learn more about being miserable, I would recommend reading How to Be Miserable, a book by psychologist Randy Patterson. Some of Patterson's insights work their way into this speech. We students learned from our elementary school teachers how to multiply using lattice. We learned from our middle school teachers that lattice was a bad method for multiplication. And we learned from our high school teachers how to use the quadratic formula. But all along, we were also learning from each other. I hope you learned from me how to appreciate various forms of humor, and I know I learned from you how to be a better person. I suppose you could have done a better job. Thank you for 13 years, good luck, and goodbye.
At this time,